Hello and welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood and Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
I hope everybody out there is doing well. Looks like we're back. I know we've had about 4,000 of these episodes of us coming back, but as you may have heard in the last one, we were busy with baseball with our kids, and that is now over. Over. So we are back. And a lot's happened. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. First things first, if any of you all watched Skybound XPO over this weekend, I hope you did because it was pretty cool. The people over there have been doing these Skybound Expo things in lieu of cons because we haven't had any cons for some time.
And they need to get content out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool way to get content out. And, it's really cool to see panels. And I watched the Invincible Season 1 recap today, and they had Gillian Jacobs. Is that her name? That plays Adam Eve?
Sure.
I believe so. And they had Walton Goggins. You're going to look it up?
Yeah.
They had Walton Goggins, Jason Mantzoukas, Robert Kirkman, and Greg Miller from, I don't know if he works for IGN still, but, he's well known out there as a nerd pop culture type guy. And, it was a cool recap. It was it was fun to see Walton Goggins, who's kind of not in this world. It might be his first voice acting. I don't think he had really done it, but he was talking about that and stuff, and it was kind of cool. But it kind of it scratches that itch of comic conventions, at least for us, because we're big Skybound people, and we miss all the people over there, and it's been a bummer what's happened the last 2 years. Yeah, Gillian Jacobs. Jillian or Gillian? Jillian?
It could be either.
Is it a hard G or is it a soft G?
I'm sorry, they don't give me the...
Okay, it doesn't really matter. But it scratched that itch. And what was kind of cool and sad at the same time today is that I watched a couple panels, and then we actually went to downtown San Diego because we live about... 15 to 20 minutes away. 20 minutes away?
Depending on the day.
Yeah, 20 minutes away from downtown. And our kids, we're big Padre fans, and we've been trying to get these damn swag chains for the kids for like a month. And I knew
you could have when we were at a game, but
yeah,
you're like, I didn't want to buy it.
Well, I didn't want to carry their shit. It's their stuff. They should have to carry it. They weren't with us at this game.
And then we went to the following game that Sunday, and they didn't have them.
Yeah, they were sold out. It's been a big thing here in San Diego. It's been cool, but we went downtown and I got coffee, and we walked around, and we walked by the convention center and by Tin Fish that's having a little Comic-Con would have been
it's called the Comic-Con Shrine.
Yeah, it would have been in 3 days. And last year there was like a little Comic-Con Shrine there, and now a local radio station is kind of putting on a cosplay type thing where people are going to gather there over the days for Comic-Con. It's still kind of sad. I know we were slowly getting back to better days, and with this whole Delta variant, we're kind of taking a step back. But, hopefully with enough people vaccinated and medical technology figuring out what's going on, that we'll have those Comic-Cons back at some point down the road. But it was interesting seeing the convention center and buying Skybound stuff on the same day.
That is funny.
It's something I miss, something we both miss. Our whole family. This is as we're walking down Fifth. The gas lamp, we were all talking about how much we miss it and how much we want it to be back. There should be banners for Loki out there right now, and
right,
and all kinds of other stuff. And they do have banners for the cosplayers. So that's kind of cool. We're slowly getting there, but it's not quite there. And
you mean it's not the same?
Yeah, it's not the same yet. And I know we'll all get back there, and I'll probably cry stepping through the doors of whatever con we go to first.
You'd hope it'd be our own.
Yeah, it'll probably be a smaller one first. But, just hope for the best. But with that said, we did watch a couple. Man, I really do miss it. Like, talking about it out loud, it's just like, man.
Well, all my pictures are showing up on my feeds.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to look.
Like, I had one from like 8 years ago.
I know. I
saw the kids. Yeah, when they were tiny.
We've been, I've been going since 96, and Katrina's been going since we've been together, and the kids have been going since they were born.
Right.
We have so many pictures of them little. We'd get hotels downtown, and we'd be close, and we'd walk around, we'd do the Lego booth, we'd see some cool stuff, we'd take a break, we get lunch, we go back. I miss.
It's just as part of their summer as anything else.
Yeah, it's some people go camping. We did Comic-Con.
Right.
I miss Big Clutch and Brian and Holly and
Everybody.
Who am I missing? I miss Kirkman giving us shit like he did every year.
Oh, you're missing what's his name?
DB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss saying hi, and we're not like close personal friends, but they're your con family.
Right.
Everybody's got that
You
con
see them
family.
every day for a week.
I miss seeing some of the people from the badge holders group that I saw every year and saying hi. We didn't spend a lot of time together, but it's like, oh, hey, how you doing?
I remember you.
Yeah. And it's just
Funko gatherings.
Yeah, Funko gatherings. Don't get me started on that this year.
Oh, yeah. That's a sour subject
But
for you.
it's a bummer. And now that I was talking about it out loud, I'm more sad about it than I was today when we were
Depressed.
walking by the convention
Whoops.
center. I know
That'll
they're trying to
happen.
do one. Yeah. I know they're trying to do one in November. That's like more local type thing. But,
We'll see.
it depends what cases are at. If they're still going that direction, if we come back down or if, how many people would actually go to it because it's the week of Thanksgiving. Like we would because
We're here.
we're here already and we have that time off.
A lot of people in this area would go. I think it's more people getting upset for the fact that they think that they would have to travel to go. I think they're thinking it's going to be bigger than it actually is.
Well, I mean, think of it in terms of Skybound. Yeah, they only have to come down from LA. It's not that far. But what day are they going to do setup if it starts on Friday?
Right.
So you're making people miss their Thanksgiving with their families, which may be the first Thanksgiving they've spent with their family in 2 years.
Or if it's a low scale kind of thing, do they just go and do some simple setup and have tables and, have people signing? And
Well, I heard like 10 to 12,000 was what they were expecting, down from like whatever 100 and something thousand.
a million people wanting to come.
And who knows? Maybe they require vaccinations. I don't know.
I don't know. We really don't know details, so there's no reason to get upset about it yet.
We don't even know if it's really happening.
Right.
But it would be cool. And hopefully by then our kid, Parker will be able to be vaccinated by then.
Right.
At the very least October 25th when he turns 12. But no, I did want to talk about a couple shows we've been watching. We just finished up Loki, and we're kind of late to the bandwagon on Ted Lasso, but they're two completely different shows.
Oh, absolutely.
That I wanted to talk about. Did you want to talk about the nerdy pop culture one first, or you want to talk about the sports related one first?
Well, we haven't even finished the first season of Ted Lasso.
So you don't even want to talk about it?
Well, should we even? Isn't the second season coming out soon? I think we would need to finish the first season.
Oh, then I guess we can end the podcast. We'll see you guys later.
Oh, God.
We'll be back next week.
Seriously? Bye. Way to go. Way to ask for my opinion and then be like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Sorry. It's not.
It is. We can't talk about what we watched so far. We've watched other shows where we've done it like every 2 episodes.
We have. But don't ask my opinion if you're going to just shit all over it.
I'm shitting all over it right now.
Good job.
Right now. Well, what did you want to talk about then?
You just said either Loki or Ted Lasso first.
Yeah, I know, but now I only have one subject. If we mapped these things out before we actually started them, you would know what I'm talking about, and we would. We're actually not fighting. It's not a big deal. Are we fighting?
No.
No, I thought that it would be good even if we didn't finish it because it's such a big phenomenon.
That's fine. Well, then let's start with Loki because we have a whole season to talk about.
We just got to break it down into the whole season instead of I feel like with Invincible, we were drinking and we kind of were like, blah, blah, blah. And
diarrhea at the mouth.
It's hard to kind of keep straight what you're talking about. Loki just ended. I think there were some absolutely huge ramifications for the next stage of the MCU. But we could break it down into the beginning, middle, and end. What was it, 6 episodes?
Yeah, it was short.
It was really short.
Sadly.
Yes, I've liked all 3 of the Marvel shows so far. I feel like with WandaVision, it took a little bit to get going, and by the end, I really enjoyed the message that it had, kind of dealing with grief and depression and how she got through it. As far as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I feel like half the episodes were really good and half were kind of not bad, but kind of slow and kind of had a little bit of drag.
Well, don't you feel it was reflective of what he was going through? Like he was having identity crisis.
Yes, and I liked the whole show.
And I think that was part of it, is that he really didn't know where he was supposed to be.
Yes. And I liked Sam's overall story. I actually liked Bucky's as well, and coming to terms with, you know,
what he did.
what he did and how he's having to get over it. The whole interaction with him and the
guy's
the
father.
older Asian man who was dealing with the loss of his son, who he killed. It's not spoilers at this point because it's been out for quite some time.
Yeah.
And no, I wasn't trying to bring it down because I did enjoy it, but I was just going forward to say that I enjoyed this one from beginning to end. I felt like it was the most consistent.
It was more cohesive.
And I think a lot of that credit goes to how much people love Loki as the character, which is interesting because, you know, I didn't think about it till I just started spewing that this was the first one based on a villain, and I enjoyed it the most. I mean, out of all the villains in the MCU, is there any other one that people genuinely like other than Loki? Obviously, he's the villain that's got the most screen time.
Venom.
I'm
Punisher.
I'm talking in the cinematic universe, not in the comic book world. And Punisher rides that.
I think it's because Loki rides the line of, is he a true villain?
Well, Punisher isn't a true villain. He's kind of the anti-hero. So is Venom.
Right.
They're not. I think.
I don't think Loki's an anti-hero.
No, I think he started as an absolute villain, but his story arc has come full circle to where he's not anymore.
I don't know. Like, I feel like he was kind of just out there looking for something.
Validation.
For himself. And yes, he was doing the biddings of other people and trying to serve a bigger purpose and like bring things down. But I don't think that was his master plan. Like, he wanted something for himself because he didn't feel like he belonged anywhere else.
Okay.
So he's looking for something. And I think that was one of the big points of this TV series, was that, you know, what is he really looking for? Because he's never found it.
Yeah.
And every time he's gotten close to something, it's just all fallen apart.
What's interesting is, so we've seen a bunch of Lokis now.
Yes. A plethora of Lokis.
But there's two, well, I guess three, because we've got Sylvie. Thank you. Sylvie, the Loki we know in this show, and the Loki that died at the hands of Thanos. Those are three different Lokis at this point.
Okay.
Because the Loki that's in this show never had that outcome.
Right. He transitioned from the lobby of the tower.
And to skip forward, yes, this Loki will never experience that Loki's end because the timeline has changed.
Right.
And we'll get into that as well.
So he won't have the Ragnarok experience.
The two Lokis that we are most familiar with, the one in this show and the one that died at the hands of Thanos, have both come, like I said, full circle to not be villains anymore, but to be helping, to be attempting to help in a positive way.
The bigger picture.
Yes, they've grown so much that they've grown past the, not lashing out because they don't have a purpose.
Right. To
knowing what their purpose of. And I think, I'm going to be sappy. I'm sure people are going to give me shit about this. I think part of it is love with the one that we're familiar.
Which one?
Okay, with the first one, finding love for his brother and finding that he does belong.
That he actually did have a family, even though he didn't think he had one.
And this one, where as weird as it is to think of him falling in love with himself,
I thought that was perfect.
He has fallen in love with himself, and where you would think that, okay, this guy fell in love with looking in the mirror. It's not in vanity. He found somebody that he actually cared about, that was dealing with the same struggles as him, and grew to that person. It's not like it's the identical version of him. It's
someone who has the same platform. They know exactly where he's walked, where he's gone, and how lonely it is.
Yes.
Even though it was a completely different experience, because with her, she basically was taken as a child and just was on the run.
Which, when you think about it, is so sad. Like, yeah. I mean, she never had anything ever.
No, she didn't.
Where he had everything.
He did. But you also have to think of the fact of when a child is being raised and they're pretty much ignored, even if people are around, they're still alone.
Okay.
So he was still thinking from the perspective of, I'm still an outsider. They really don't care about me. The only person he really showed any true care for was his stepmom or, adoptive mother,
Yeah.
because she was the only one that would kind of break it down for him that, I still love you. I still care for you, even though you do bad things.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't the best. I mean, obviously as a parent, there is that unconditional love that you have.
Like, she didn't feel sorry that he was in jail.
No, she knew that he deserved it.
Right. But she still wanted him to know that she still thought about him.
It makes me think of that scene, and I think it might have been Dark World, which wasn't very good.
No.
But there's that scene where he's everybody
Projecting.
sees that his cell is fine, but after his mom was killed, but inside that scene is him. Everything's broken, and he's
Right.
just freaking out, which is actually a cool scene in a bad movie. But this, it took the character even further. I want to touch base on something that was outside the show real quick. The woman that plays Sylvie, who I'm not familiar with.
No.
Do you know from anything else?
No.
I know that she recently had a baby, and that baby is either still breastfeeding or she's still pumping. But I thought it was cool because the costume designers made it for, those costumes are so crazy that you have to, install them around you. However,
Apparatus to
Yeah.
jump you into your suit.
yeah, and you don't come out of them, I'm sure, for all of filming. But they made like quick releases to where she could pump, or I'm assuming pump, for when she needed to, which I thought was cool.
Yes, because it can be very laborious when you have to do that.
Yeah, and I mean it's extremely important. I mean, what are you doing?
I'm trying to look for her name, and what else she's correlated with.
But I thought from beginning to end it was the most consistent. I loved Owen Wilson
He did great.
in the show. He was great. I saw a thing on Twitter that some people are just finding out who he is, and I'm like,
Really?
we're in our late 30s now.
Yeah.
So we've known Owen Wilson for a long time, but I guess younger people, when was the last time you saw him in anything? Besides, heard his voice in Cars.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time since he's been anything.
Right.
And I don't know if he just took time off or if he was doing Broadway. Sometimes people do
Or plays.
and they disappear from.
It's not like he's hurting for money. Like,
I'm sure.
I'm sure he's okay financially.
That nose looks worse as he gets older, though.
Oh, jeez.
My goodness. But he
It's a
was
calling
really
card.
he was really good in it. I liked the idea of the TVA time variance. What was it? TVA?
Time variant.
Association. That's not it.
No. Apparatus.
Yeah, I liked Tara Strong as the clock.
Oh, I did too. She's so good.
Yeah, she's
a great voice actress.
Oh yeah, she's the best. Well, not the best, but she's great. She's in all kinds of stuff, and it felt the most consistent. I looked up TVA. It said Tennessee Valley Authority. That's not the TVA I'm looking for.
No,
Google.
it's not.
Thank you. But I liked the initial. Who are they hunting? Then you find out it's a variant of Loki, and I'm like, okay. Or even Loki going...
Time Variance Authority.
Okay, Authority. Even him going through the beginning where he's trying to still be this aggressive, big presence, and he's realizing he has no... Once he sees the Infinity Stones,
yeah,
he realizes that this is the
It's
most
all
powerful...
bullshit.
Yeah, this is the most powerful thing in the universe.
Yeah.
And I found that realization fun. And then he still tries to get his own way a few times, but he slowly realizes what's going on, that he has no power, that's over. And he basically gains friends, with Sylvie and Owen, or Mobius is his name. Mobius. And I liked that. And I liked that, going to figure out who these timekeepers are and that all being for show too.
Right.
And all the TVA realizing that they're just variants. Like
they're just part of a master plan.
Yeah, they're basically stealing these people from their worlds and enslaving them as an employee, a universal security force.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
They're the most powerful thing in the universe. I liked our guy from Tacoma FD.
I did too.
Yeah, he was so funny.
He was hilarious.
He's the.
He was like the secretary.
Yeah, he was a secretary. With
a little mail cart.
Yeah, he's funny. In everything he does, he's kind of a scene stealer.
He is.
He was in something else recently that we watched as well. But I felt like like I said, it was the most consistent to the end, and you know, you watch him fall in love with himself, but they're both such broken people.
That can't trust anybody.
They
That think
can't-
everybody's trying to screw them.
She can't. She said he said that she can't trust anybody, and he can't be trusted. Was the line, right?
Right.
There were some good lines in that show. I wish I would have written them down. You know, we weren't sure when we were coming back to record, but I want to be more consistent, so I actually want to write notes down when we're watching stuff from now
Oh, that's
on.
smart.
Yeah, because I used to do that when we saw movies, and I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, I forget everything. It's really bad.
Yeah, that's why I figure writing stuff down is such a good idea. And we have notes on our phone. Every fucking person in the world has their phone on them at all times.
Yes.
So I'm just going to keep my phone next to me while we're watching shows now.
But I'm pretty sure my notes are very different from yours.
That's good. Why would we want them to be the same if we're trying to
Oh,
discuss
I mean,
it?
like, I don't take notes on things that I watch in my phone.
Oh, you take them on paper?
I usually do.
Okay, that's fine too. You meant the actual act of taking notes.
Yes.
You are different. That's
Yes.
fine. I'm sure your notes are a lot better than mine.
Yeah, if I can read them.
But then, you know, you find out that what you thought were the timekeepers aren't, and you dive down the rabbit hole of who is the actual person who runs the TVA. And
The all being.
I liked when they all got, you know, then you go to find all the Lokis, which is a really fun scene. I mean, you know, obviously everybody loves the alligator Loki.
Yeah, it's
And,
ridiculous.
The older Loki was really good, and you saw how good he got with projections and stuff like that. And I really wanted to dive more into the version of, there was like Kid Loki there who killed Thor, and that was what he did.
I took it as like kind of like a Cain and Abel kind of situation.
Yeah, but I mean, that's so interesting. Like, I want to know what happened. I mean, I'm sure there's comics that dive into different things, and they stole that from, you know, some
Something.
story arc somewhere, because the history in Marvel is so big. But I'd like to know more about that. You know, I found that fascinating. Obviously, they're not going to dive into it in this, but then, you know, the older Loki had fled Thanos, and he lived on his own for so long. So, and that was cool. But then, you know, you go in to see, they finally get past everything, and you go into this castle, and you're introduced to who is probably going to be the next big villain in the MCU. I mean, I'm assuming he's too big of a name to be a one-off.
Okay.
And
That's fair.
Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror, I think that's what it was. You know, I'm not...
Kang.
I'm big into comics, and, you know, I read a lot more indie stuff than I do Marvel stuff. You know, I've read my Spider-Man.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror, who's played by Jonathan Majors, who's best known, I believe,
Lovecraft
for
Country.
Lovecraft Country, which was
Really
fun.
good.
You know, that
And
got
so was the other girl.
yeah. Oh, Jesse Smollett from Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got nominated. They said that wasn't coming back, and it got nominated for like 18 Emmys or something crazy.
Because it was great.
Yeah, so they parts of it were extremely good, and parts of it kind of lost its way, I feel like. But I really enjoyed that show. That's neither here nor there.
That's another topic.
But, you know, in Lovecraft Country, Jonathan Majors is so serious in
All
this,
the time.
and they're saying they had already said Jonathan Majors was playing Kang in the next Ant-Man movie.
Okay.
So in Quantum Mania, we already knew he was coming, but he shows up in this, and you know, they say his character discovered the multiverse, basically, that universes are stacked on. So this actually wasn't Kang, is the speculation. This was one of his variants, but now that he's been killed, it leaves it open for Kang to actually show up, which is apparently, you know, you see the statue of him at the very end, that he's actually in charge of the TVA, and
Right.
and he was before as whoever he was in the show, but now this person obviously wants everybody to know that he's in charge.
Right. And not these phantom people.
Yeah. So you have Loki coming back and trying to tell his friends who he's become friends
He's like,
with.
hey, here's what's going on.
Here's what's going on. This guy's powerful. Here he's coming. You know, this is what happened, and they don't know who he is because he's in a different timeline.
Right. Well, he's in a different universe.
Yes. Well, I mean, timeline, universe, you really don't know.
So I was honestly thinking through the show that there was somebody trying to eliminate universes,
Okay.
which is true.
Well, yeah. I mean, because if you're burning everything off that's going in a different direction, you're canceling universes. Or
Right.
canceling alternate timelines.
Right. So that was my whole thinking, like halfway through the season. I was like, someone's trying to get rid of timelines.
Obviously,
And
we don't
what's
have any
going on.
scientists on this podcast, but I'm assuming that multiple timelines on the same universe can exist. Although, they say time is
A construct.
a construct, and you can't really. That's interesting to think about.
So and that kind of got me thinking about how they're moving into Spider-Man with the multiverse.
Well, Spider-Man is No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange is Madness of the Multiverse.
And then what's Wanda doing? Looking for people in different places.
Yeah.
So
it's going to have a huge impact on what's going forward. It basically gives them, it's almost like in Star Trek. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I do enjoy the movies, but it's like in Star Trek when they came through the timeline or the black hole or whatever to change the timeline so they could do whatever they wanted.
right.
So now you basically have all these different universes, all these different timelines, so you can basically do whatever you want. And that's how you got J. Jonah Jameson back. You have Doc Ock coming back from Spider-Man 2, I'm assuming, and all these different characters from the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield and the Tom Holland Spider-Man colliding into one thing, which I find it extremely cool that they're using other versions of the same thing. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield swear up and down they're not in the movies. They're done. They haven't been contacted. They're not in the movies. It's all speculation at this point, other than I think Jamie Foxx is coming back and Alfred Molina is coming back, and obviously J.K.
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons is already back as J. Jonah Jameson because he was in the last Spider-Man movie.
Okay, so if they're not going to be in it as Spider-Man,
so they say,
is there a possibility that there was a death involved?
What do you mean?
Like there was a timeline where Spider-Man died.
That's what happened in
because Gwen Stacy died in Garfield's timeline.
Yes.
So,
but I mean, if you look at what was the movie that we liked? Why can't I think of it? Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
I mean, Peter Parker did die in that universe.
Right.
So, I mean,
does Miles Morales show up?
That'd be cool. Oh my God.
Instead?
That'd be so cool. Like, it really opens up a lot in...
Because then Gwen Stacy's going to show up as, her
Spider-Gwen?
version. Yeah.
And I really like Jonathan Majors a lot because I saw him so serious, but in this role, in this show, he wasn't. He was very charismatic. He was very...
Goofy.
I liked it. And I'm just... He was
trying to play light on the situation, even though he knew it was really, really detrimental as what was going to happen.
When he realized he didn't know what was happening anymore.
Right.
He's like, we just passed it. And he didn't know what was going to happen. I thought that was super cool. And he knew he wasn't going to die. He knew in one way or another
he would come back.
A different version of him would come back, and he was the one keeping them at bay. But I believe that Jonathan Majors, with this Kang situation, if he is the next big villain, because, I mean... Loki was in several movies before Avengers, wasn't he? Or was it just Thor? It doesn't really matter. He has the ability with his charisma and the character he's playing, depending on how it's played, to be the next Loki as well. Like somebody that spans across a couple different movies, franchises, and is that big presence. Not as much like Thanos, because Thanos was just spoken about until you saw him. And then he kind of slowly was this big
larger
deal.
than life
but with
issue.
With Loki, it was a little different because you saw him right away.
Right.
So I'm wondering if Kang's going to be that next Loki, or is he the next Thanos? Are we building up to be a bigger... It'd be weird to show the next huge, crazy villain like Thanos this early on. But, I mean, it's a different set of films now.
Well, I guess it's going to be which version of him is going to be that villain.
He could play multiple people.
Right. Because we're going to be dealing with multiple timelines where he is there as different people.
Yeah.
Doing different things.
I like the possibilities.
So.
And I liked this show. I really liked it. And it was.
So is that going to be the door for the X-Men too?
Well, I guess Kang, and like I said, I enjoy comics, but I feel free to tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I want to say he's a villain to the Fantastic Four as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, they've already said the Fantastic Four is being made. So, I mean, that's
they're
going to be a movie.
They're going through that crapshoot of having to deal with who they're going to have do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really open things up, and it's exciting again. I mean, we went a year without anything Marvel, and we haven't watched Black Widow yet, but it's exciting that I feel like this one was the first one. Like, I really enjoyed WandaVision by the end. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the journey of those two characters, but this has an impact that's so big in the MCU that it's going to
envelops everybody.
Everything.
Right.
And it's also the first one that by the end of it, they announced that it's coming back for a second season.
Right.
I know WandaVision's a one-off.
Okay.
They haven't said anything about the other one, but this already, there is going to be a second season. So, I mean, we don't know what the next Marvel show. We have the What If animated series that's coming out, but we don't know what the next big thing is.
So I wonder, is Loki going to take on the idea of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they had things going on in the background that was dealing with what was going on in the universe and movies, but not like in a forefront way? But there's things in the background that happen that affect what's going on in their TV show.
Well, I think his story is going to weave in and out of a lot of different universes now.
Okay.
Not universes, but a lot of different. It's going to intersect with a lot of different other stories, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, or whoever. But I really feel like with him basically having a portal to all these different places.
Oh, can he go back and see Lady Sif and have like a weird conversation and like think that she's going to hit him?
That loop was funny.
That was great.
They did a lot of things well in this show. I'm trying to. There was one episode that I saw everywhere said it was bad, but I had really liked it. I can't remember which one it was. But I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about the show. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the direction it's taking in opening up this next phase of Marvel films.
Well, he can basically pop into anything and just kind of drop in.
And I'm sure it's going to be a struggle of him either trying to find Sylvie or his original timeline to find his brother.
To go back.
But who knows? I mean, now you don't even really know if Thanos is going to get to kill Loki. He did see his own death, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. And you got your wish. We're not talking about Ted Lasso. You
can say that how much you really like it.
I really like Ted Lasso. It's held up to the hype. But we'll finish the first season and do an episode on that before.
Well, how many more episodes do we have to watch?
3.
Okay.
We can watch one tonight and we'll finish it this week. And then because the second season starts, so we can do an episode on Ted Lasso on the whole first season before we go into the second season. Like we've done with Game of Thrones and stuff in the past.
And then we'll have to be stuck with week to week.
That's fine. Unless they release it all at once, I really don't know.
I don't think so. I think Apple TV releases their stuff week to week.
Okay. I mean, this is our first experience with Apple TV. We've never had it before.
No kidding.
But
I could be wrong.
Yeah. We'll be back. I like I said, sports is over for our kids for now. At least
now.
As in-depth as it was before. And I think we're both fairly motivated to do more episodes. I just talked to Alan about doing a Books and Brews episode. So he's going to pick a book, and we've done Kirkman in the past. We're close with the Skybound people. I want to do Firepower.
Okay.
On one. We have to decide with beer and food. We never did Thorn for one of these, did we? Thorn Brewing? No. So we'll do Thorn Brewing. We'll figure out some food to eat, and we'll let Alan wants to do Preacher. Yeah, I know. I've got a lot more to read in Preacher. I read the first 2 trades and I really enjoyed it, but I fall in and out of things so quickly because we're so busy.
I think I have one more trade.
Okay.
That I have to read.
But you won't remember any of it.
I won't. So I'll probably just have to reread it.
I'm also rereading Invincible because the show happened and I wanted to reread it again.
Right. Well, it's actually a good book, so.
But we do have a lot of stuff that we want to do. Like, we wanted to do this. We didn't leave you all because we wanted to. We left because we couldn't, physically do all the things
there's not enough hours in the day
going on.
I don't have 24 usable hours in a day.
No, I mean, and we still have to sleep, but we're carving out time for this because we enjoy it, and I know that people enjoy listening to it. So, we want to do this. We're not forcing ourselves to do it. So, we already have this next episode obviously planned for Ted Lasso,
right? Because I think we could take a whole.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's a good show.
It is a good show.
But yeah, we'll be back. We're gonna record, midweek this week, so we'll probably get another episode in 4 to 5 days. But we just gotta.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get 2 episodes out by the end of July. This one's in the middle. We could get 1 or 2 more and back onto a regular rotation of 4 a month.
We just need to set the days that we're going to do it and then just do it those days.
I agree.
Because I'm much better at executing when I have a schedule instead of saying, oh, we need to do that this weekend. That's way too general for me.
Well, I've had all these plans for the last, I don't know, year and a half of things where directions I wanted to take this podcast. And with the kids being in baseball, it was tough. And I tweeted it out online today that, watching the Skybound XPO really gave me some kind of inspiration and motivation to get this back going and get this going in the right direction. There's things that we want to do through this, and we have people that are here to support us. We have, it's weird to say, we have fans and we have people that we know that are willing to support the show. So, we're back. In the future, we're just going to say, I think we're just going to have seasons where the season ends at the end of, or maybe not that, we shouldn't go away completely. Maybe during baseball season, we should commit to 1 episode a month so we can update on what's going on with us and what we're watching and what we're enjoying. We can make those hour episodes instead of 30 to 40 minutes, and we could do those during baseball season.
We'll figure something out.
And so we're not completely off the grid, because I feel like we lose the people that are following along and listening. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be here for the people that want to listen to what we have to say.
Okay.
Whether it's TV shows or stupid ass news or whatever the fuck we're talking about.
Dumb news.
Yeah. I enjoy talking about dumb news.
It's fun.
Yeah. Those episodes are fun. So, we'll be back in a couple days. I hope you all are still around. I know it was.
Hope you're cool. It's fucking hot around here.
God, yeah, it's hot. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world too. So I hope you all are okay. And we'll be back in a couple days. Talk to you soon.